Today we're going to be introducing you to Flash, and we're going to be making this exciting train that's going by the screen here. This tutorial is from Vineyard Designs. I've put it together onto a Word document and changed a couple things, but you can follow along with either the Word document or the website, whatever's better. So first off, we have Flash, and we're going to choose ActionScript 3. We don't actually use any action script in this, so it doesn't matter which one you pick, but we'll go with 3. You'll notice here we have a stage area, and we have a timeline up top here. We have properties down the bottom. Palettes over on the left, and here's all the tools on the right. The palettes are on the right, and all the tools are on the left. And I think they have a nice snazzy little image with all that label. The timeline's up top, tools on the left. This area is called the stage. These are our palettes, and this is the properties. So we're going to make this 500 by 300. You could choose this down here in the properties, or we can go under modify, document, 500 by 300, and we want to choose a background color that's kind of like a light sky blue. We can give this a title if we want, train animation. So there our stage is all blue. If we want to put some text on this layer, call this train. Move it so that it's on the screen. Maybe I'll change the color. Make it black. Alright, now it's good to keep everything on separate layers. This is text, so I'm going to call this layer 1 text, and make a new layer that I'll use for the background. It says background. One thing that is worth pointing out, if I select a tool, an object drawing tool, like say this rectangle tool, down here in the very bottom left corner, there's a feature that you can toggle on or off. You want the object drawing to be on. I think the default is off, so make sure that's on, otherwise you'll have problems when you're drawing your various things. Now this background we're going to have is going to have some grass. I'll show you the picture. It's going to have some grass, a tree trunk, some tracks. That's all going to be in the background. So we'll start with the grass. We've got our rectangle tool, and we'll draw, let's choose our color, green, bright green. Sure, why not? Here's our bright green grass. I'm going to use the arrow keys and just drop this down a little bit to the left there. So part of this, when I dropped it down, actually went off the stage. It doesn't matter. I just didn't want it to cover too much of the sky. So there's my rectangle. Now I will draw an oval for the tree. Here's my oval for the tree. I don't want it to be green though. I'll choose a brown of some sort. The stroke's already black, that's fine. I need a trunk for this tree. There's my tree trunk. Maybe I'll make, the leaves aren't brown. Let's make the leaves a darker green. There, that's better. Now this trunk looks kind of funny out front, so I'm going to right click it, arrange, send to back. So there's my funky tree. In the tutorial it has you create all these things and make them symbols. I'm not going to worry about that. You can, but I'm not planning to reproduce more of them, so I'm skipping that part from the tutorial. I'm going to draw a line for my track. If I hold the shift key down, it'll lock it so that it's horizontal, 45, or vertical. That way I don't end up with some sort of crooked track. So I'll hold the shift key down. I'll draw it a little bit longer so it sticks off the stage a little bit. Now that I am going to turn into a symbol. So you select it, so you make sure you have it selected. Then you go modify, convert to symbol. You'll notice you can also just press the F8 key. Make it a graphic, and this is a train track. And in my library, I now have train tracks. And you can see a picture of the train track there. So that means from this library, where this object, this symbol has been made, I can grab a train track and drag another one on. I don't have to redraw it, and it'll be exactly the same. Maybe I'll move this up a little bit. Move this one up a little bit. In the tutorial, it has you drag out more of them and then go modify, rotate. I find that whole process a little bit tedious, so I'm just going to draw another line. Draw it on a bit of an angle. Snaps to it there. Edit, copy it, edit, paste in place. And using the arrow key, I can move that one over. Edit, paste in place. Move that one over a little bit. Edit. Actually, I'm going to do copy, edit, paste in place. And there's I'm not going to worry about spacing. I can get all the spacing perfect later. But one thing that is handy, instead of making a whole bunch of these one at a time, I'll hold the Shift key down and I'll select. So now I have 4 of them. Edit, copy, edit, paste in place. Use the arrow key. I don't have to necessarily use the Shift key to select 2. I can just draw a line here, select them, but I'll have also selected the green background. So I'm going to hold the Shift key and deselect the green background. So all I have are these little cross tracks. Edit, copy, paste in place. And do that a couple more times. Hold the Shift key down, deselect the background, edit, copy, edit, paste in place. And I'll grab these couple that are over here and move them to this side. So now I have all these tracks drawn. I'm going to select them all. Hold the Shift key down so I don't have the background. Go Window, Align, and I can distribute it right here. Distribute horizontal center. And that even the spacing all out. Good, so there's my background. I have the tracks, the tree, everything else. I'm going to make a new layer for my train. Train. And I believe it's sort of a yellowy train. Let's see, oh, it's orange. Orange with dark orange, okay. So rectangle tool. Fill it with sort of an orangey color. Draw my, let's not go with a black stroke. Oh, sure, why not black? So here's the main engine of the train. And let's convert this into a symbol. So you can press the F8 key or modify, convert to symbol. Call this train body parts. Body, train body, I don't know. It's a graphic, okay. So now, down in my library here, I have the train body and the train track. So now I can just drag on another train body and it'll be exactly the same color and stroke, so I don't have to worry about any of that. Modify transform if it's not already selected. So modify free transform. And now I can transform it, can rotate it or resize it. You'll notice if you start resizing from the corners or even the sides, it brings in both sides at the same time. If you hold down the Alt key, it'll just do one side. So depending on what you're trying to do, sometimes you want it to go nice and symmetrical, other times it's a bit of a pain. You can use the arrow keys to kind of line things up. It's looking more like a moving bus. Oh, that's fine. This is what my train's going to look like. Okay. Now I need that little stack that comes out of it. Train body. Maybe not so tall. Definitely wider. And put that on top. Oops. I grabbed my center point. I'm going to zoom in a little here so I can see this better. Put this on top of my train. Modify, free transform, so I can actually hold the Alt key down. Bring this a little lower. Bring this a little to the left. There we go. I think this train has a trailer on the back, so we'll grab a couple more train body parts. Modify, free transform. Hold the Alt key down, like that. Oh, actually, this is the little connector, isn't it? So make this a bit smaller. That goes on here in the middle somewhere. One more body. There. That's my train. Train looks a little big. Oh well. So I'm going to actually hold the shift key down and click all these pieces. Modify. Convert to symbol. Train body. It's a graphic. Click OK. Oh, it's already taken? Oh, right, it's the other one. So train body whole. Now it'll make this one object that I can just kind of move around. This train is also going to need wheels. That's a circle, so I'll hold this down, oval tool. Go with sort of a, I don't know, dark blue. What should we do? Sure, dark blue. And hold down, if I hold down the shift, that makes it lock so it's a perfect circle. And if I hold down the Alt key, it'll draw from the center. So I want to put the center of the axle right below the body here. So that's where I'll hold down the Alt and the Shift and make my wheel. Oh, I don't want it too big. Something like that. Bring it down maybe a little so it lines up. That looks pretty big, doesn't it? Modify, free transform. Hold the Shift key. There, I like how that looks. Something that you make the wheels however you want them to be. We need a couple spoke things to give a sensation of moving. So I'm going to zoom in on the wheel here, draw a line. This is that line tool. Straight across from one edge to the other edge. This is where it could be good to do a duplicate so it's exactly the same. So edit, copy, edit, paste and place. You can't tell that anything's happened, but there's a second line right on top of the first line. I'm going to modify and rotate this, transform, rotate, 90 degrees. And what that does, now you can see the two lines separated from each other. That worked out okay. If yours didn't, you can use the arrow keys and kind of move it around a little bit. So this wheel is made up of the 3 parts. So let's hold the shift key down and select all 3 parts, the 2 lines and the circle. And we'll go modify, convert to symbol, wheel. Just a graphic for now. So there's my wheel as a graphic, and let's zoom out. And we're going to need some more wheels. So grab this wheel, and actually let's make it into an animation first, right? Yeah, let's do an animation first, otherwise we'd have to animate all of them. So I have this wheel as an object. We're going to convert to symbol again, F8 on your keyboard, or convert to symbol. And this time we're going to make it a movie clip. We'll call it wheel animation. Now once it's a movie clip, it'll give us some options. If we, in terms of animation, so we can make this thing look like it's moving. If you double click this wheel, it'll take you in. Everything else kind of gets grayed out, and it takes you inside the wheel, and you'll see you've gone from scene 1 to scene 1 wheel animation. And up here our timeline, we haven't looked at it yet, but in our document settings when we set this up, the default is 12 frames per second. So we can have this animate and have various frames. Let's just go to frame 5, insert a keyframe. So I'm right clicked on frame 5. I'm going to choose insert keyframe. And what I'm going to do is now rotate this wheel at frame 5. So modify, transform, rotate counterclockwise, because it's rolling to the left. And you can't see anything happen if I toggle from there to there because it's symmetrical. 90 degrees is exactly what the spokes are. If yours are slightly off, you might see some changes. But if I right click in here and create a motion tween, what it does now, it puts in little frames like an old flip book where you would draw a picture and then turn the page, draw a picture, and then you'd hold your thumb and flip through all the pages and you'd look like an animation. It draws all those inside pictures for you. So I'll go to frame 10, right click, insert a keyframe, modify, transform, rotate it 90 degrees, right click, create motion tween. Now we've got it going a full 180 degrees. Let's go to 15 seconds, right click, insert keyframe, modify, transform, rotate it 90 degrees, counterclockwise. Right click in there, create motion tween. One last one at 20. Because we've gone 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, so by frame 20 we'll have done a full 360 degrees. Modify, transform, rotate. You can also just hold down Control Shift 7 if you remember that, but anyways, I'll just do it through the menu so you can see. There. So now from frame 1 to frame 20, it'll do a full 360 degree rotation. Good. Let's click back here on scene 1. So we're back to the full scene now. There's my wheel. The wheel animation has all that animation tied to it. Let's drag on the rest of the wheels. So we'll need another one, say here, here. Don't worry about getting them lined up perfectly because we can distribute them after. If I hold down the Shift key and select all these wheels, window align, I can distribute them with the vertical center, and so they'll all be lined up. I was pretty close there anyways. The snap too will snap things in place pretty good. So there's my train. Now to preview my movie, I can go Control Enter on the keyboard, and there it is. My train is spinning away. I don't really like that all the wheels turn exactly the same, so I'm going to modify, transform, free transform, and just rotate them so they're all kind of different from each other. I find it just looks a little better. So now when I Control Enter, they just look slightly different. I don't know. It's up to you. So now that's my train. And it has wheels and it has a body and all these parts. I need this train to move. And I need it to move from off the stage onto the stage. So let's actually make this whole thing one object. So I'm holding the Shift key down, selecting all these different parts. Modify, convert to symbol, train whole. Here's the whole train. Graphic. So now it's one big object. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see. So this train is going to start off the screen somewhere there, and then cross and go out the left-hand side here. It's 12 frames per second. If we want this train to take 5 seconds to go all the way across, then that means it's 5 times 12 is 60. 60 frames to move all the way across. So right click, insert keyframe. Whoopsie, oh yeah, right click, insert keyframe, right click, insert keyframe. So all of these things are involved in the animation, but only the train layer is going to be have the motion tween. On the 60th frame, I want this train to end up over here. So I'll drag it over there. And in the train layer, I will right click, create motion tween. And now the train will drive through. And those wheels will be animated as they go along. Let's take a look at how it looks. Control Enter on the keyboard. Ta-da! And it loops around. A couple other things that they have us do is just to sort of show how you can insert animated GIFs or little logos or things like that up top there. So if I go to the website, the Vineyard Designs, and I right click on their logo up top here, I can save picture as. Put on the desktop logo and it's a GIF. Come over to the Flash and I can insert or import to the stage. Desktop, my little logo. And there it is. Now it's good to actually have it on its own layer, otherwise it's going to be on this train layer, and then if I go Control Enter, well, you can't even see it. I thought it would like go across. But anyways, let's exit, edit, cut, new layer, logo, edit, paste in place. And now that will look a little bit better. Control Enter. We can see the Vineyard designs, but notice it's all bitmapped and pixelated, and you can see the little bits of white. We don't really want that. This is a vector program, and we've got this bitmap stuck on the middle of it. So it'd be nice if this was traced and turned into a vector. So what we're going to do is we're going to go under Modify, Bitmap, because it is a bitmap, and Trace Bitmap. And this is kind of like the live trace that you have in Illustrator. Sure, that's fine. You can play with these thresholds to see different results for the color. I think that works fine, though, the 100. Let's zoom in a little here. And there we go. We've got our little Vineyard designs. It doesn't have all the little white bits anyways. Control Enter, and there's my train. If I was fancy, maybe I'd stick that Vineyard designs on the side of the train. Have it go along. That would look better. Anyways, introduction to Flash, motion tween, object drawing, done. Save your work.